Hey guys, Kenny here. I was thinking since we all know what uh, today is, I would review the two movies that were based on the events of this day, United 93 and World Trade Center. First, United 93. I had loved everything about this movie, the performances, the tension, the suspense, and it felt very real, almost like it was happening, even 5 years later. And this is directed by the brilliant Paul Greengrass, and I think this is probably his most personal and touching film he's ever made. I haven't seen anything that tops this in terms of how emotional and uplifting it is. Even though it's a sad uh, topic that it is portraying, it still makes you feel very encouraged on the the good things that human beings can do. I also loved how well the plane set the of the seating of the passengers looked, how realistic it looked, even though that was probably on a set. It probably was on a set, but also maybe also on a real plane. But I loved how vibrant that environment looked and felt. It looked the cinematography in this film I remember was breathtakingly beautiful. Not just because of the subject matter, but Paul Greengrass has had a great eye for shooting things with a very glossy, crisp look that makes you get drawn into the film no matter what it is, even the three Bourne movies. But, the two Bourne movies that he did, the Bourne Supremacy and Bourne Ultimatum. I actually think this is probably. I might get a little criticism for this, but I think so far this is probably the best film he's done in his career to date. And I'll go into some things of why I think that is. I felt like he directed the actors flawlessly. Every one of them had their moment to shine. No particular actor or actress overshadowed the other. They all had cohesion together. And it also felt like they were actually there in the event as it was happening. And I think United 93, that was the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania. Yeah, that was the one that crash landed into the field in Pennsylvania. That probably may not be as grand, or not grand, but that may not be as horrifying as the other two. But this one probably was the most gut wrenching in the out of the whole uh, plane crashes. And the plane set, the jet plane set, was also beautifully constructed. I think that's one of the best uh, airplane scene sets I've ever seen, and it still is. Even though I haven't seen it in 5 years, but I still remember it vividly, like I saw it yesterday. And the music, the score, I remember was also very, I'd say, fast paced when it needed to be, but also emotional. It was more of an emotional score, in my opinion, and it stuck to that, and the score was it, glo- it glowed with flying colors. I loved it. And what else? See, that's there's probably not very much visual effects in this, and if there is, it's almost you can you almost can't tell if there is any, because I think Paul intended on this being shot for with real sets, no green screen. If there was, it's on it. You can almost not tell that it was there used, and they're actually on a. The actors are actually on a set. If it wasn't, they weren't uh, rear screen, front uh, rear screen projection, front screen projection, blue screen or green screened in. Neither one of those. They were actually on the set, and they interacted incredibly well together. One of the actors I remember very well, he was in the show Boston Legal. I can't remember his name, but he played the mentally disabled lawyer who wore the glasses, and he had these little twitches and things that he used to do with his hands. Like, I think he grabbed his knees a lot, and he walked around and he had his hands up to his waist by where his legs are. Kept walking around with his hands pressed to his legs. That actor, he was fantastic in this. And the girl, a girl who was in Juno, was also in this film. She was a redhead, and she played Juno's best friend. I might review Juno at a later time, but I was just throwing that out there. She was incredible in this. There's also some other familiar faces I've seen, but I can't really remember them or place them to any particular TV show or film right now. But United 93. This was, I thought this was very much needed for the time it was released, because even 5 years later we were still grieving over it, and I thought this put a a lot of closure for many people who had people involved in it that were either survived or died, either one. And what else? It's still very memorable to this day, and I think if anyone hasn't seen United 93, this is from 2006. I think this was American Airlines Flight 93, I think. And I highly recommend this film to anyone, because I think even now I think it's really not required viewing, but I think this is definitely important filmmaking and an important film in history that anyone, that everyone who does like watching film or is interested in film or getting it to being in film, doing any number of things, I think they should definitely see this. I really think this should be required viewing for filmmaking college classes. But there are also high schools that do video, film, and I think this is also required viewing for them too. So I've loved talking about this. Now, since talking about it, I remembered when I saw it in the theater, and I can't stop thinking about how great an experience this movie was, and I really highly recommend this. I think I would give this a solid 5 out of 5 stars. 5 out of 5 definitely. So I think that's all I have to say on your 1993 from 2006. So stay cool and roll out to the movies. Bye.